This is 7 Dooms for Sandpoint. Interlude 5 of Sandpoint Stories, Velynia, The Forging of a Blade. Aureate blooms at night. Every city has an artist's quarter. Some romantic haven where dreamers test their courage against the cold blade of failure. But Kaeryn's is something stranger, wilder, more alive. Here, streamers snap in the ceaseless wind that coils through the city's broken tiers. Pennants of every color flare like captured fire over awnings painted in impossible hues. Laughter spills from every doorway, effervescent and reckless. Rooftop bars bristle with rushlights, their glow trembling against the black stone sky. And the music, God's the music, never stops. Fiddles whirl like dragonflies, drums pound like competing heartbeats, and flutes trill, sweet and sharp enough to cut. Murals climb the walls in riotous cascades, half art, half defiance. Jugglers and fire breathers weave between the crowds while masked acrobats swing from window to balcony as easily as other folk breathe. Lovers chase each other into alleys, poets recite under lamplit arches. Actors, half drunk on applause, reenact scenes on the street just to hear the cheers once again. Aureate is celebration carved into stone, a sanctuary of revelry perched on the edge of a city that eats the unwary. And tonight, it feels like a stage set just for you. You slip between the carousers like a shadow learning to dance, passing beneath dangling lanterns and painted banners until the noise of the streets blurs into a distant, shimmering roar. Only when you reach the mouth of a narrow alley do you stop. From here, framed in darkness, you see it. The House of Painted Echoes. The theater rises before you like the opening act of a play. Grand, luminous, and just a little haunted. Its facade curves upward in pale stone, the color of extinguished candles. Carved everywhere with masks whose expressions shift between laughter and despair depending on how the lantern light hits them. Silk banners cascade from the balconies in tattered waves of color, indigo, ember red, storm purple, each one whispering secrets to the wind as if the building itself were whispering lines from its last performance. The entryway is framed by 2 towering statues of performers mid-bow, their marble draperies flowing with such lifelike softness that you half expect them to rise and greet the next audience. Except tonight, the great doors are shut tight. The ticket booths are empty, the crowd scattered to other revels. Only the faintest glow breathes from the upper windows. Private lights, subtle and warm, marking where the playwright dreams. The home of Taliora Vicien. Half-elven darling of the Aureate stage. Her home sits perched above the theater like a secret loft of genius and vanity. A sanctuary of ink and velvet and whispered lines. You stand in the shadows now. Breath steady, heartbeat quieting into readiness. The revelry of Aureate washes past you, bright and unknowing. You have your orders, Velynia. Find where the woman lives. You've done that. Over the last few days, you've trailed this woman. Now is step 2. Determine how to infiltrate her apartments. And the final stage, the reason you're here. Retrieve the incriminating document the collective will use against her. This is all the guidance you've been given.
Mm-hmm.
No hands on your shoulder, just the task and the expectation that you will not fail. Velynia, as you stand here in this shadows of this alleyway across from the House of Painted Echoes, tell us, paint this picture for us. What do we see? What is the Velynia we see before us? And what is going through her mind after 2 to 3 days of trailing Taliora Vicien and preparing to figure out how you're going to get in? Just bring us up to speed into Velynia's mind in this moment.
Sure. So as far as like what the audience sees, I think they see, obviously Velynia looks younger, but it's kind of hard to put a finger on what about her looks younger. Maybe it's her posture, or maybe it's she is a little shorter, a little thinner. Just the way she carries herself is very slightly less sure than adult Velynia, as we would have seen. As far as what Velynia has going through her head at this time, she is feeling like she has done all she can to prepare, and in that she is confident. She feels like there is truly nothing else she could do to be more ready than she is right now for this moment.
There's a piece of information I want to give you.
Please.
And along that line of thoughts of preparedness, an instruction that you were given: take nothing with you. Take only yourself. No weapons.
Wow.
No other tools but yourself.
Okay.
This is part of the test.
So, I maintain what I said. Velynia feels like there's nothing else she could have done to be more prepared for this moment, and yet she feels unprepared. She feels naked without the other trappings that she would normally have. And I would venture to guess this is one of the first times she's been sent out on her own, if not the first time. And so she is just like trying to avoid thinking about all the things that could go wrong, and instead doing what she has fallen back on, maybe just in the last year or two, which is kind of a ritual of going through all the possible scenarios. I think we've touched on this once maybe in the main campaign, but just kind of like thinking through all of the possibilities, like what if this goes wrong, what if that goes wrong, what's the plan if and she's kind of doing these just like rapid fire in her head as she continues to kind of look at the outside of this theater building.
As you said, you've prepared. You spent a couple days tailing Taliora. You've watched her comings and goings, and you've learned her routine. And true to her routine, a little after midnight, you watched as the brightest of the lamplight from her various windows in her apartments over the theater, one by one, were doused as she passed through the apartments on her way to her bedroom, indicated by a large circular window with a view over Oriet. And finally, that light goes out.
Perfect.
You stand there looking, waiting for her to be assured that she's asleep. And as you're running through all of the possible scenarios and options at your disposal, I would like you to make me a d20 roll.
Okay.
And because you have a level of preparedness from external observation, I'm going to give you a +2 circumstance bonus on this.
Yay! 13.
Okay. There are 3 points of infiltration that seem the most obvious to you.
Mm-hmm.
They all have their pros and their cons.
Sure.
You'll have to decide. First, painted banners that drift from the playhouse's balconies. Leftover stage cloth that's been dyed in twilight hues. As they flutter, their movement creates a rhythm, a beat, as though inviting you into their choreography. If you scale the drain pipe to the second tier, you can grip the layered curtains, climbing through folds of velvet and silk up to the private balconies of Taliora's apartments.
Mm-hmm.
Or, around the side lies a narrow door flanked with crates stamped in fading ink, props, costumes, illusions. This door, you have watched the stagehands shove their weight into the door until it gives with a little bit of a complaint. The door likes to stick a little bit. You've only caught a glimpse inside. This is where the stagehands enter into the theater. And then there is entrance, presumably, that would take you up to the apartments.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's the rooftop. The abandoned marionette parlor next door offers an easy leap onto the roof of the theater. From there, the Painted Echo's grand skylight tempts you. You've seen it, an oval of dusty glass framed by iron filigree, clouded with grime and old performance smoke. Beneath it lies the dressing chamber. One well-placed shift of your weight on this skylight could crack the glass. Careful descent, and you could melt soundlessly into the shadows in the heart of the home. So you have before you a decision. Climb the drain pipe to the hanging curtains that lead up to the balconies. Try the alleyway entrance into the backstage through the stagehand's entrance. Or the rooftops and the skylight. What would you like to do?
So, I think as Velynia, scans these 3 options. The first being on ground level that she considers is this alley door. And again, as she is going through this ritual, she sees herself sneaking up to the door, pushing until finally she's kind of forced to give it a huh with her shoulder. And she sees herself stumble into this back room where there are inexplicably stagehands waiting to ambush her. And she kind of X's that option out in her mind. She sees herself going up through the skylight, and all is going according to plan until the glass breaks. She can almost see in her mind all the different ways the glass could break and all of the unexpected ways that a small pane of it could fall and shatter and make noise and give away her position. And so she kind of eliminates that option as well. And she ends up deciding on the one with the climbing the drain pipe and then scaling. Is she going to be scaling back down via this tapestry, or could you explain it a little bit again? I'm doing that one. But I want to remind me exactly what it entails. It was the first one you said, so I kind of forgot.
The apartments sit on essentially what is the 3rd level of this theater. So yes. It's basically a 2-story theater to allow room, for the grand stage and the audience and everything. But there are apartments in this building above. You know from your research that Taliora Vicien owns this entire building, and is a playwright and an actor, mostly retired actor, but do bards ever truly retire?
I mean, that's a great question. Ask Daniel Day-Lewis.
That's the title of 6 Days into Summer's autobiography. Do bards ever retire?
Got all kinds of shit going on we didn't know about.
So this is at the 3rd floor. So the drain pipe will get you up to where roughly about halfway up the 2nd floor where you can reach the hanging silks from the balconies. And then those you would climb, that would then, because the balconies extend outward, so you wouldn't be able to take the drain pipe all the way up. You need the silk banners to be able to sort of clamber up and get to the balcony the stone balconies where you can climb over top. Okay.
Yes, I think Velynia sees that as the quietest option. And on this, maybe, like I said, her first or almost first task, she doesn't want to leave anything to chance, so she would go with that.
Let's go with another d20 roll, and we're going to give you another +2 circumstance bonus because you have the advantage of youth in your spryness as you are clambering up this drain pipe and these silks.
You said I got a +2 again?
Yep.
That's a 10.
Okay. Your prompt is you have a couple close calls on your way up before you make it to the balcony. What does that climb look like with a 10 rolled?
So I think as Velynia is climbing this pipe, I imagine the pipe is attached to the wall, and so she kind of has her feet braced on the wall, like she is reverse rappelling almost, and she's kind of climbing up that way. And I think maybe about halfway up, which is already quite high by now, she hears to her horror the groan, this sudden creak of rusted metal as a bolt that is holding this in comes out of the wall, comes out of this brick. And and she just she reaches up higher and then scrambles her legs higher and just kind of squeezes her eyes shut tight and looks down, and I imagine there's this slightest little metallic ting, 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 she can hear below as this one single bolt clatters to the ground quite far below her, and she kind of looks around and listens and just freezes for a second to make sure nobody heard or there's no, and she looks above her to see if she can see any. I imagine you said, are there nearby buildings? Are there buildings that are close-ish?
The closest buildings on this side of the street, the House of Painted Echoes is flanked by a almost like think of it like a fantasy drugstore. It's an apothecary, but that's also some of the fancier people like to come in for their fizzy waters and their milkshakes and they also like to come in there for to get their cures for their various maladies. And it's known that the proprietor of this place also deals a little under the counter. More severe drugs are available here as well.
The other
side is a closed, not just closed, but it's boarded up, no longer in business marionette shop.
Oh yeah. Velynia is just looking for signs of lights coming on above her. Which obviously, because the balcony is out a ways, she can't see, so she's looking at adjacent buildings to see if she sees any light coming on.
I think what happens is we see for a moment that sort of dizzying, vertigo-inducing perspective of Velynia holding steady while reaching maybe one hand on the bottom of one of these silks as that single bolt falls, and we're looking past you down at the ground below with that little bit of disorienting look as a drunk is leaning against the wall below you, taking a leak, and you just hear the slight he's in the process of your climb. He just kind of stumbled down the way, and you just hear that faint. And then that single bolt and lands right near him. Ting, ting, and he goes, by the gods, did I just piss that out?
Yes.
I'm gonna stop drinking. And he just kind of does up his trousers and starts wandering away, singing this tune while walking at an unsteady pace. And at least twice he turns and looks back at where that bolt was and is just like in disbelief. This drunk firmly believes he just pissed a bolt out.
Pissed out that bolt. Velynia has the same reaction that I think Cari just had, which is that she's like been holding her breath this whole time, and when he's finally like walking away and she knows damn well he's not going to remember this in the morning, she like exhales silently but like her whole chest. And then she just like kind of shakes her head and looks back at the tapestry and kind of like reaches out. So like she's reaching like away from her spot on the wall. Like she has the wall here and she's like reaching out away. And I think she does kind of like pull it to test just to make sure that it will hold her. And she pulls just about as hard as she can. But ultimately there is a moment where she has to kind of make a leap of faith, and she just like, and then like reaches over with her other hand and like full on like grasps this and then locks her feet together like you would if you're climbing a rope, like pinches it with her feet. And just
I think there's this moment where in your sort of that little bit of youthful wonder as you are grabbing these silks, they're fluttering past you in these brilliant hues almost in slow motion. As soon as you make that leap of faith, where for just a split second all you see is these colors floating past you and the revelry that is Oriet, the entertainment district.
If I can add to that, Velynia was raised in her like young youth, worshiping Shaylin, the god of the arts and wonder and majesty, and kind of and often Shaylin is depicted as a bird, with many colorful tails, and I imagine that for just a second she can't help herself, but that evokes that memory. Obviously she does not worship Shaylin anymore for reasons, but she remembers for just a second this,
and in that
so
second
evocative.
Just the faintest echo on the wind, you hear a woman's voice sing the last song she ever sang to you, without knowing that it was the last song she ever sang to you. Take 3 points of emotional damage.
I'll mark that down. -3 because emotions.
So I think the next thing we see is from the perspective of the balcony looking out over Oriet and the rest of Kiramaga, or sections of Kiramaga, is we see your hand come up and you quietly land on the balcony. Roll me a d6, please. Now we are going to find out which room you have just entered the balcony of.
5, which is also the number of this interlude.
How appropriate. And I have prepared a number of rooms
Oh gosh, look
for
at this.
you to have landed in. However, I'm not telling you how many rooms there are, but I'm telling you that this was only going to be one of 3 rooms. So 1, 2 was that. Whoop, sorry, wrong thing. 1, 2 was that room. 3, 4 would have been there. 5, 6 puts you in this one. Okay, so you are now standing on this balcony, stone balcony.
Mm-hmm.
There is a set of doors, basically. The window is a door on each of these balconies. They like French doors. They call them Orient doors here, I imagine.
Of course they do. What's French?
But they are usually have a simple latch and closure system, and you can see that this one appears luck is with you. It is not only is it unlatched, it is partially open to let some of the cooler air in, or maybe to let some of the stagnant air inside out. Who knows? A little bit of both. Do you enter?
Yeah. So Velynia goes up, and everything she does in this process, she does slowly and carefully. Even the couple steps from the edge of the balcony to the door, she takes slowly for fear of there being the crunch of a stone or a rogue, piece of, I don't know, whatever on this balcony that would make a noise. And so she opens this door likewise slowly to ensure that if there is a creak, it doesn't make it. And she leans in very slowly and silently, and looks to make sure there's no, because in her research it didn't ever look like there were any bodyguards or errant lovers or anybody other than this woman in her apartment, but just in case this night is different, she does lean in and kind of look and listen, and try to take in context clues to make sure that Taliora is the only one here.
Make a perception check.
Okay.
We're gonna do this with
my adult Velynia stats?
We're gonna do this with a +1.
Oh, okay.
And the reason is you're still learning to be perceptive in the world. Did you just roll a nat 20?
Yeah, how could you tell?
I was gonna say you're learning to be perceptive in the world, but also you are trying to look into you're going blind into the inner rooms of this place. You've only seen through the windows, and usually looking through some form of sheer curtain, so you can never get a clear look. But your reconnaissance was good. For all of her fame as an entertainer in Orient, Taliora does not employ extra bodyguards. Whether she does so because she doesn't want to expend the money or she thinks herself beyond the need for that, you don't know. But you listen.
NDAs she'd have to manage.
You listen and you do not hear any unexpected sounds. You were pretty sure that she had no pets. No form of creatures, four-legged or otherwise, that she took out on walks or anything. You don't. It's actually almost unnervingly quiet as you poke your head in. It's not by magical means, but this building seems to be insulated enough that much of the distant sounds of revelry that you still hear on the streets of Orient, here within, even with the window cracked, they barely rise above the sound of wind chimes.
Cool. Perfect. So I think Velynia comes in, and then behind her shuts that Orient door to exactly the openness that it was before she came in, and then she just tries to take in this room and tries to see if there's any indication of where, if there's a study or a desk or anywhere where this document she's looking for might be.
Again, luck seems to be on your side. You have entered the writing studio.
Fuck yes, dude. Yes.
This chamber is circular, intimate, and quieter than the rest.
this is where she writes her plays and poems.
As though sound itself shows deference here. You see now maybe why there's so much sound dampening, because of the bookshelves that are stacked with books and parchment and scrolls. A little bit of light from the city spills across a polished desk, dark as ink. A single quill pen rests atop a stack of parchment, and an alchemical ink pot glows faintly blue from within, lit by a tiny ever-burning flame meant to keep the ink in its liquid form. The walls are carved wood, each panel etched with ribbons and masks that twist and mourn under the shifting shadow and light. Thousands of lines of dialogue may have been birthed between these carvings. You see on the shelves lining the walls, lead-weighted dragon-stylized bookends with their serpentine bodies coiled in the quiet shadows. A crystal paperweight large as your hand, faceted to scatter faint rainbows from even the smallest amount of light coming in. A feather-shaped leather opener that looks almost like the other quills, except this one's the feather portion of it doesn't flutter in the breeze. A small wax melting brazier, its flame adjustable to make it hotter or cooler as necessary to melt wax for wax seals. Partially open, you see a velvet curtain behind which resides a recessed alcove. Crouching in the alcove is a life-size stage prop of a mourning angel carved from dark wood. Its wings, thin hammered metal, gleam with a knife-like sheen, catching the faint light. Though its head is tilted, its hands covering its face partially, it seems to peer through its fingers at you. What would you like to do?
I think Velynia goes like immediately over to that desk. Is the curtain like in arm's reach of this desk?
So this little alcove sits above the desk. You could reach up, and there's, picture this like a deep red velvet curtain with a thick braided cord that's used to kind of pull it back and forth.
Yeah, so it's like there's a scene in the movie Casino where Joe Pesci's character, when he's robbing a house, he puts all their pictures down because he doesn't want them watching him. Velynia does not like this thing's vibe, and so she's looking at the desk trying to stay focused but can't, and so she just like shuts that curtain. She doesn't want that thing looking at her, and she doesn't want to look at it. So, and then I think she starts very quietly. Does this desk have drawers in it?
Yeah, it's a desk.
Yeah,
it's got a center drawer. It's got a couple on the sides.
Okay, I think she starts, because her first thought, obviously this room, like when she first saw it in all of its grandeur, her first thought was, oh shit, like where do you even start in this room to look for like a single document? A document, by the way, that she doesn't even fucking know what's in it because they won't tell her what exactly she's looking for. And then part of her realizes that maybe that in and of itself, the needle in a haystack sense of this is part of the test. Can she overcome this oh shit feeling? And so I think her next thought is, where would she hide something? Or if there was something she wanted to keep safe, where would she put it? And her first thought is just in one of these locked drawers. And so she starts testing these drawers very slowly, quietly, pulling on each to see which, if any of them, are locked.
As you start pulling on these, the center drawer slides forward on well-oiled slides.
And if they open, she is giving at least a cursory glance inside as well.
So I think each drawer at first, each one opens. Inside you find a variety of For instance, in the center drawer, you find that there are several letters addressed to Taliora in large looping script. Letters sent from adoring fans. You catch the faint scent of perfumes and colognes.
Oh my god. Awesome.
There's a couple of elegant quill pens sitting in here. One even that's in a leather case that's been inscribed with her name, with a gold leaf embossment.
Wow.
Side drawers that contain mostly dog-eared and annotated scripts. The bottom right drawer, when you go out to pull on that one, it rattles slightly and refuses to open.
Okay. Velynia takes a half a look just around like the desk to see if she gets lucky and there's maybe a key just sitting on the desk. Like, if,
Sounds like a D100 roll to me.
Yep, I think that sounds fine.
I'm going to say that there's a 10%, well, Taliora is an actor, and you're getting a sense that she's a little bit of an extravagant one. I'm going to up that and say that there's a 25% chance that she's the kind of person that just leaves the key out in the open.
Well, and she's clearly in the midst of a writing project, too. She's feverishly writing. She left candles lit in here and everything. I got a 12.
That's a 4. Tell me where you find the key on this desk.
That is fucking rad.
Luck has, this is the third time you've gotten lucky on something. I can't wait until this luck runs out.
I'm so youthful and lucky. I think that Velynia, she like pulls, and honestly, this is one of the few times in her life that she feels lucky for having found a locked drawer, because she's like, I bet it's in there. And she looks around in all of this everything, that all of the accoutrement that you just said is on this desk. And I think she sees, it looks like another quill. It's in amongst the several quills that she has laying about, and the letter opener that looks like a quill, and all of this other stuff. And all of a sudden, one of these quills doesn't look quite right. And upon just very closer inspection, this quill is a key. And she even looks at this desk now and feels stupid for not having seen it before, but there is an embellishment on this desk that matches the look of this quill exactly. And it looks like this was a custom-made piece for her that came with a key that looks like a quill as well. And Velynia takes it and tries it in the drawer.
You put it in the drawer, in the lock, and turn it, and click, it unlocks.
Yes. Awesome. And so I open the drawer very quietly. And
You open the drawer, and it is completely empty.
I want to check for a false bottom. Is there a false bottom?
All right. Go ahead and roll a D20.
Okay. Straight up, that's a 14.
Okay. You start feeling around inside, looking for a false bottom, feeling around, and as you reach up just underneath towards the bottom of the drawer above it, you kind of slide your finger along there, and you find a little metal ring, a little catch that feels like a pull handle of some kind.
I pull it.
You pull on it, and you hear click coming from behind that velvet curtain that you drew closed, where the statue is.
I don't want to fucking go talk to that statue again. I don't want to go back. It's like, and Velynia like hears that and just like closes her eyes in exasperation. It's like, fuck me. And then she kind of like very quietly closes the drawer, puts the quill back the quill key right where she found it, exactly in the position she found it in. And then she goes and she like looks behind that curtain. This is the scariest part of this whole fucking night for her. I don't know what I'm gonna find. She's nervous. This is the.
As you peer behind the curtain, you see that the statue, one of the hands that was up over its face like this, is now held out, and in the palm of the hand there is a small piece of parchment folded over several times.
I think Velynia kind of like goes in and like slightly shuts this curtain again behind her as she goes into this little space.
It's not a space you can go into. I want to be clear.
Oh, it's not. It's just
picture.
Right there. Okay.
It's kind of like a recessed alcove above the desk. The statue is only like this big. It's not like a life-size.
Oh, I thought you meant it was like a life-size statue. I apologize. I was unclear on that.
I may have actually. Let me double check something. I wonder if I actually described it as. I did say life-size stage prop.
Oh.
Sorry.
Okay, no worries.
I originally planned it to be an alcove between two bookshelves, and I moved it above the desk and made it smaller, and I forgot to change it in the description.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah, it's kind of like, picture like a place where you would normally, in our world, you might see like a statue of the Madonna.
Like a bust.
Or something like that
perfect.
there, yeah.
Yes. So I think Velynia takes this this document and kind of like looks and makes sure again that there's no activity from where she knows that Taliorda's bedroom is. And she kind of like rolls her eyes at this statue and this key and this false bottom drawer to an like this locked empty drawer, and she's like, leave it to artists to be elaborate. And then she kind of like opens up this document.
So when you turn it over, where this piece of paper has been folded, it's small enough to fit in the hand of that statue. It seems like it came from within the statue, the click, and then there was a whole thing to it.
Okay, there was a whole thing.
Sorry. Well, you drew the curtain, so you didn't actually see what happened.
Yeah, no, I don't want to see that.
So, what you see is not what you expected. This piece of parchment is sealed with black wax. And there is a very familiar looking sigil in this wax. SC.
Fuck.
This piece of parchment is sealed in the signature black wax and sigil of the Shadow Collective.
What? Fuck. So Velynia breaks the seal. Like, I think here's what she does. So you said there's like several like candles like around this desk, or at least like,
actually never said that.
I thought you said there was one.
No, there's a magical ever burning light inside the ink pot that keeps this magically keeps this ink from drying out.
Yeah, fuck it. I'm just gonna break the seal.
But there is enough light in here, and you're half elven, so.
Yeah, I'm low light vision. Perfect. So I wasn't really looking for light as much as I was looking for it to kind of like back in the day, we had all kinds of ways to like put a letter over steam, like over like a boiling pot to like unseal it, but then be able to reseal it with our parents none the wiser. And
yeah. I think
I was kind of going to partially melt it. So if this
I think
I shouldn't see.
You're thinking the opposite of what you would need to do. With the letter openers available to you, you would be able to very carefully pry this seal without tearing the paper. And then if you wanted to reseal it, then you would heat the back of the wax.
Okay.
And be able to press it back into place.
That's what I want to do.
Okay, so you pop the seal on this thing.
Yeah, it's like very carefully.
As soon as the seal is popped, this letter, you realize, has been folded in from corners. All four corners just sort of... And inside you see the words, "And now the performance begins. Your true task stands before you. Taliora Vicien must die tonight. Use only what you find within these rooms. Eyes are upon you. The Brothers of the Seal have been alerted to an intruder. Finish swiftly, or be the tragedy."
The Brothers of the Seal? What are the Brothers of the Seal, bro?
So,
what are that? What is that?
So I would like you to... I would like you to make a... What kind of lore knowledge does
Underworld?
current Velynia have?
Underworld, and that's
Okay. And what's your bonus in that?
8 is adult Velynia.
Take a 4.
Okay.
I'll give you a 4 because you are a part of an underworld organization. And I want to just see how much you know about the Brothers of the Seal.
So this is actually appropriate. I got a 13 then with my +4.
Just a reminder, you do have domain dice available to use. You have 75 of them, I believe.
That'll do. Yeah, sure. I'll go ahead and re-roll that once. Here I go. That's worse. I want to do one more. Here I go. That's much better. That's a 23 now.
See how I peer pressured Cari into using domain dice?
Yeah, I am nothing if not a victim of peer pressure. But I want to know, what are the Brothers of the Seal? I want to know what danger I'm in.
Here's what you know about the Brothers of the Seal. The Brothers of the Seal have lived quietly within Oriat, going about their secretive monastic lives.
Oh, fuck. Cari knows what the Brothers of the Seal are. I just remember. Okay.
Local wisdom holds that the Brothers of the Seal are tasked with the protection and care of an ancient and mysterious vault that is hidden somewhere beneath the district. They are known to not trouble anybody that doesn't trouble them. However, this extra little bit of knowledge you pick up, and at your young age, you realize while Kaeryn itself is a Kaeryn is a bastion, and it is known as the Asylum Stone. This is a place where all kinds of exiles, misfits, and ne'er-do-wells arrive in Kaeryn because they know that it's an anarchy state that self-governs. Hence all the multiple...
Stone in Kaeryn and are sure to hit beef. That is apparently...
There you go. Yeah. So so this is not a city that has city guards, a city watch. There's no formal government. There's no formal military force. But if there were, the Brothers of the Seal would be among them, and would be among the more deadly, because the Brothers of the Seal are an order of monks, and what they care most about is protecting their secrets and protecting against anything seen to endanger those secrets. Which means if this letter is telling you that the Brothers of the Seal have been alerted to an intruder, you have a very limited time to complete the task you have just been given, or you're going to be caught by these monks.
Yeah, and I think the you know, because of the nature of the Shadow Collective, like, we deal in secrets, and so, like, I think it's almost like with the younger initiates, in the Shadow Collective, the Brothers of the Seal are seen as like an enemy, because like obviously they don't want to give up their secrets. We want to get their secrets. It's very much like from the get-go like an adversarial.
It's almost like the holy grail of secrets too, is if you are an organization that deals in secrets, if you can get secrets belonging to the Brothers of the Seal, that's like some of the most valuable information in Kirmaga.
Yeah. And so Velynia realizes in very short order, because like she doesn't, if this letter says that they've been alerted, she doesn't know how long this letter was sitting in. The rest of this night goes by in a flash. Like, how long has she taken to get in here? Like,
make a perception check.
Yeah. Like,
straight up.
She's in her mind trying to figure out 8.
Yeah, you have no idea how long.
Oh, and that panics her. But then she tries to fight that panic down. And I think that a mentor or something has some brutal lesson flashes into her head about not allowing panic to take hold. And I think she like blinks hard and then like looks around this room for anything that might be able to be.
So you're in one of many rooms in these apartments, and you don't know exactly which rooms are which. You don't know where Taliora's bed chambers are. You loosely know that they're at the end of the building.
Right.
What would you like to do?
Sneak into the next room and look and see if there's like a coat of arms or like a suit of armor or like even a prop sword. It'd be awful and brutal, but it might do the job. So I think Velynia goes into the next room and looks for something that might be useful.
Roll me
as quietly as she can while at the same time being swift.
Roll me a d4.
Okay. 1.
You cross the room to a door, and you see immediately outside of this room that there are 2 other doors. One door is very obviously a front entrance door. The other leads into another room somewhere else in the apartments. You have just moved into the reception parlor.
The foyer.
You slip into this sort of half moon chamber. This one does glow with dim amber light from nearly spent lanterns. Shelves arc along the curved walls, swollen with more scripts tied in soft ribbon, stacks of annotated drafts, playbills curling at the edges like autumn leaves. The whole room feels poised, waiting for its cue. Props from yesteryear's performances hang like relics of forgotten saints. A row of delicate porcelain urns resting on a narrow ledge, not dangerous in purpose, but perilous in potential should gravity become a collaborator. A towering bronze candelabrum, cast in the shape of dancers twined together in perpetual motion. One wrong touch and its weight could topple like a falling star. A pair of antique dueling rapiers, their blades dulled to a graceful patina, but still thin and biting as frost. The light trembles from a chandelier fashioned from blown glass teardrops. Each droplet refracts the shadows cast in the room, casting silhouettes that lean, bow, and sway like actors awaiting your entrance. A table near the center holds stacks of sheet music and a meticulously carved metronome. It sits silent now, but it's almost as if you can hear it as your heart is racing in your chest.
Oh, damn. Okay. I hate this room. This room is a fucking nightmare. If you're trying to be quiet, this room is a fucking nightmare. Velynia takes it all in, and then she sees those rapiers. And in my picture of it, Velynia is like like scanning, and then at last, it's like that scene in Pulp Fiction. She sees these rapiers and is like, yeah. And so she wants to try to take one. Is it high up, this set of rapiers?
It's at a sort of mid-wall height that you could walk right over and grab.
Okay, I do.
Okay, I need you to roll me a
There's one
D100.
that's sharper than the other.
I need you to roll me a D100.
Okay.
And we're going to see what happens if you roll within 15 on either side.
Okay.
And it's going to be worse if you get the exact same numbers I do.
I got an 11, so we're going from 26 to 96. Nope.
Wait, that's an 8. No, that's an 80. Okay.
That's an 80.
Yeah.
No, it's
Sorry.
not.
Sorry.
Wishful thinking.
No, I did
much.
for a minute. For a minute, I was reading it upside down. And then I'm like,
Okay.
wait, there is no 8
minute.
on that one.
That can't make sense. That's an 800. It's the worst.
It's an 800. It's as bad as it could be. So
Show explodes.
what possibly was going to happen is you were going to grab the rapier and they were bolted to the mounting plaque.
God damn it.
If you had rolled the exact same number, you were going to grab it. It was going to come off the wall and clatter to the floor.
Clatter. Well, guess what? Velynia is an expert.
You
Almost not.
reach over and there's just the slight
Shh.
swing, very faint singing of the blade of the metal as you draw it off the wall.
I want to like test it with my thumb.
This is a real rapier that appears to have been dulled somewhat for safety. Its edge is not as sharp. I mean, it's a rapier, it's mostly a stabbing weapon, but there's, some edge to it. It's a little rounded, and the sharpest edges are dulled a bit, but potentially it could get the job done. It might hurt more, might take a little more effort. These are stage weapons. They are not
I know.
military grade or anything like that. But it's the best you found so far.
Yeah, I take it with me because it's the best I've found so far. I'm keeping an eye out for, again, like daggers or anything. I do want something smaller if I can find something smaller.
Sure. Roll a d6 as you prepare to move to the next chamber.
3.
All right, so that's going to be a 1, 2. We're not in that room. 3, 4. Actually, no, it would be that room. Because the D3... Hold on, you went into that room. You had been into 2 rooms so far. Mm-hmm. There's only 3 rooms left. Why am I mixing this up? Okay, there's that one. Okay, I see. Okay. You go into the next room. This door opens very quietly with barely a sigh of a sound. You see this room is longer than it is wide. It is a conservatory where Oriet's brilliance seeps in through panels of stained glass. Amber, lapis, and violet light drift across lush carpets and low couches, making the entire space seem to breathe with muted colors of night. Cushions are strewn across the floor as though dropped mid-revel. Half-open windows let in the distant, faint sounds of rooftop performers, the faint chiming of laughter, the perfume of street vendor pastries. This is less a room and more like a retreat, a place where art stretches its limbs. Instruments lounge where others might leave houseplants. An elven harp shaped like a flowering bough, its frame delicate as bone. A silver flute resting on a lacquered tray beside sugared ginger. A mandolin whose polished back reflects shards of colored light. Drums of various sizes nestle beneath a paneled table painted with comets, and from the ceiling hangs a cascade of crystal chimes, each one poised to shiver at the slightest touch. Everything in this room is arranged for beauty, for company, for long afternoons spent composing or seducing a muse.
Useless, all of it. I think Velynia does see this room, and in her mind, she thinks just that. Like, this is not helpful. I will say though, there is a slight feeling that Velynia has not felt in a long time when she sees like the grandiosity of all of these rooms and an eclectic life that she's about to snuff out as soon as she can find where to go. She's feeling a sense of hesitation that she's sure will go away as soon as she has to do what she has to do, but there is a ping of something that she doesn't exactly know, and she moves on to the next room.
Roll me a die of your choice and tell me if it's odd or even.
Even.
The next room on the other side of the conservatory is almost, I'm picturing almost like a 70s style beaded curtain, but
awesome.
It's more, instead of beaded, fully beaded, it's actually strips of velvet that have little metal carvings hanging from them that are creating a little bit of weight to it. So where a beaded curtain would sort of make that rattling sound when you move through it, this makes the sound of a hushed whisper as you pass through into the velvet parlor. The velvet draped doorway ushers you into a smaller, moodier chamber where the light softens and sound seems to hush of its own accord, muted by the plush atmosphere. This is the parlor or sitting room, a cocoon of dark silks, low lanterns, and sumptuous furniture made for whispered confidences. Curved bar hugs the far wall like a dark wave. Behind its polished counter, rows of glass bottles catch the low lamplight, each one holding some rare indulgence. Corvosan brandies, Andorran whites, glittering herbal liquors from distant ports. Crystal decanters clustered together like perfumed spirits, their stoppers carved into delicate twists and flourishes. A brass garnish knife sits beside a tray of chilled stones, each a dull metallic gleam in the dim. The furniture invites lingering. The midnight blue sofa curves beneath a tapestry depicting one of Taliora's earliest triumphs. Stylized masks, swirling skirts, the suggestion of applause. A low marble table, its surface veined with fossil spirals, holds a scatter of empty glasses and a folded fan left behind by some admirer. The air smells faintly of anise and crushed citrus. The floor is padded enough that footsteps vanish into it. Here, too, everything is meant for pleasure. Everything suggests comfort, indulgence, and a cultivated ease.
I want to take a closer look at that garnished knife, please.
Out of the corner of my eye, I saw you perk up when the knife was mentioned.
Knife, you say. It was like the Charlie Brown teacher was like, want, knife, want. No, just kidding. It was a beautiful, evocative image. But about that knife.
Yeah, so as you move across there, sure enough, these plush carpeted floors make even your quiet footsteps seem invisible to the ear.
Wow.
You move over to the bar and you see the this brass knife, brass, not brash, Depends on how it's used, I guess.
Also brash.
It is, the handle is brass, and carved into it is the same mourning angel figure that was in the alcove, except this time the wings are folded around it as part of the handle. And it seems almost as if where its hands are reaching up, that they move up into the blade of this knife. I'd say that this knife is probably about 3 inches and very sharp.
Oh, Jesus Christ, that's still gonna be gross. I think Velynia does leave the rapier though, because honestly, a small sharp blade is better than whatever size not sharp blade. So she takes this little fucking knife and is trying to decide, like, is this... Yeah, she's just, like, pushing away all thoughts of this person and just trying to focus on, like, the job. And so she takes this little knife with her and goes into the next room, whatever the next
You
room.
actually see on the other side of this room is not a doorway, but a hallway. At the end of that hallway is what looks like a dual sliding door of opaque glass.
Okay.
You know from your movement through this chamber and through some of the inner rooms, you are moving towards the edge of the building.
Oh, which is where her bedroom.
This, you believe, should lead to Taliora Vysien's bedchambers.
Oh, man. Wow. Okay. Again, like, Velynia is, like, trying to... Like, this seems like an interesting person. Like, you know, the just what she's watched and how she's seen... As in her days leading up to this, how would you characterize the way Taliora interacts with people? Like, as Velynia has been following her and Taliora has been moving her about the city and doing her thing and da-da-da, how would you say she interacts with people? This might make me feel better or worse. Is she a nasty, mean bitch? Tell me she's a nasty, mean bitch. I'm just kidding.
I would like you to make a perception check.
Okay.
And I'm going to give you a +3 on this.
Been watching so good. I've been doing some good watching. That's an 18. Which for little baby Velynia is a pretty damn good roll.
Taliora Vysien moves through this city, this district, like she owns it. She is a celebrity who acts like a celebrity. You have seen her in these last few days be genuinely nice to fans, be genuinely nice to people she interacts with. But on an 18, once or twice, you have caught the facade slip just a little bit. She's not as nice as she seems. And on a day that you saw her have maybe just a couple minor things go wrong, she took it out on people that she interacted with. A little too quickly, and then quickly covered up. She is a performer, after all. I wouldn't say that she's like the absolute most horrible person in the world, but she is a person who is, the nicety that she puts out is she's performing.
There's like an elitism.
Like she won't let the performance drop.
Okay.
So she's never truly revealing her true self.
Okay.
out in public.
All the same, there is, as Velynia has moved about this building, she has realized there is an artistic value to this person. Just in terms of how she affects the community and the art that she has put out into the world. And I imagine, has she been on the scene for like a while? Like, has Taliora been on the scene for 10 years?
She owns the theater.
5?
She owns all of the apartments above the theater. And you have, at this point, in your few, maybe 20, 30 minutes that you've been in these apartments, you have seen hundreds upon hundreds of scripts, annotated scripts, playbills, memorabilia. She is half elven, so her true age seems a little tougher to discern.
Sure.
But she's definitely much older. She's definitely been doing this for a while. How long, you can't tell, but it's been, say, at least 10 to 20 years, but it could just as easily have been 40 to 60 years.
Velynia, the only reason I ask is that Velynia has probably heard of her and maybe even like snuck into a play when she was little. Not even necessarily to see the play as much as like the thrill of sneaking in. When she was a little girl, before the collective and before all of...
Yeah, because we only hinted at it at the beginning when you found out you were in Kaermaga.
Right.
This district may not have been your home.
Right.
But Velynia comes from Kaermaga.
Indeed. And so I think Velynia is very aware of this woman, who has maybe gotten on in years, been less active, but at the same time has, again, had an impact on this city and on art in general. I imagine her stuff is fairly far-reaching and renowned.
So you've just been contracted to kill, or ordered to kill, Dame Helen Mirren.
I know. God damn you!
Sorry if Helen Mirren is watching. Sorry.
No, we are not. Helen Mirren is a saint, and there's a reason she's a dame. Anyway, she would never be mean to fans ever. But kinda. And like in terms of the fame aspect of it, yes. And I think that's Velynia is trying to push all of that away and all of the like interesting shit she's seen in this apartment and this eclectic life again. And just trying to focus on, she's even trying to remember the couple of times that she saw this woman be nasty to people. Because I don't know how many times Velynia has killed since like...
Velynia has never killed. This, well, since that first time,
right.
Velynia has never killed for the Shadow Collective. This is your first time you have been ordered to kill. And I think it's telling that when the orders, when you read the orders, you immediately started trying to follow the orders, and it's only now, standing outside of the bedchambers, as you're weighing the gravity of the situation, that you realize, I've never done this before. Well, not for the collective.
Right.
Not since that first time.
And I imagine that as she, like, not since, there's like that thing that has come to be something I use too often, probably as a narrative device, but that like, like kind of flashes of the first time. And I think she's standing outside the room, and almost outside of her own power, she does reach forward and push this door open. Is it open a crack, or is it latched and shut?
It's a sliding door.
Or it's a sliding door.
It's a sliding door.
So I think
yeah, as you reach forward, I think as you go down this hall, we see those flashes, and all we see in those is quick movement. We see a small figure, a child, lying bruised and bleeding on the floor, not Velynia. We hear cries and screams. We see a man raise his fists, bring it down again. We see a close-up of Velynia's face, almost anime style, just the eyes. And we see those eyes go to pinpoints as the brow just sort of curls in and furrows, and then we hear a primal scream. We see the flash of a blade being pulled, and we see the plunging of a blade repeatedly. After the first time, it's no longer a shining silver blade. It's coated in blood. And then the last shot we see as the hand reaches out is that same anime style look of the eyes, still with the anger, but this time the face, the visible skin is splattered in blood. And then your hand reaches out and sort of almost moves as you slide that door. That last scene sort of slides out of the way. Inside, you see an elegant room without excess. Canopy bed draped in sheer silks that ripple in the draft. A wide circular window overlooking the district, and a small dressing table cluttered with elegant disorder. The bed itself is a confection of layered fabrics, deep crimson sheets, pale rose blankets, a comforter embroidered with curling golden vines. Long decorative pins secure the draperies and graceful folds. Ivory, jade, polished jet, each one a tiny work of art. The mattress is high, supported by carved wooden legs shaped like dancing women. The circular window frames the rooftops of Oriet, now washed in opal twilight. On the dressing table below it, a scatter of perfume bottles, thin-necked and elegant, a jewelry box lacquered black and inlaid with pale lilies, a hairbrush with a dense carved handle resting atop a coil of silk scarves. Scripts lie partially tucked under the pillows, their margins cluttered with edits and sweeping impulsive notes. Even here, where softness reigns, you note the subtle hints, the culmination of Taliora's life. A half-scribbled line of verse on a slip of parchment near the mirror. More scripts. A small lute resting on a seat at the end of the bed, its neck polished from frequent use. Every object in this apartment is art. Every piece is deliberate. Every room sings of a woman who lives in the heart of her craft, basking in its applause. Now, you have been through 4 of the... Was it 4? This is the 4th of the 5 rooms. There's one room you didn't actually go into. Velynia. What is adult Velynia's stealth bonus?
It is a plus 14, sir. I am an expert.
Okay. I'm going to knock you down to a plus 6.
Oh, nice.
I would like you to make a stealth roll, please.
Okay. Here I go. That is a 16.
Okay. I would like you to make your second stealth roll for the second room you entered.
$21.
Your third stealth check. $13. And your fourth stealth check. This one you're going to get a plus 2 circumstance bonus because of the padded carpet floors.
So that's a plus 6 and a plus 2, or just a plus 2?
That's a plus 6 and a plus 2.
Oh, nice.
So plus 8.
24.
Okay. What you have done with these very good stealth checks, but not all of them passed, is lowered the percentage chance for the D100 roll, the final D100 roll probably. There is now a 12% chance that Taliora ICN is awake. Need you to roll a D100, please.
What was the percentage? What did you say? I need to know what I'm hoping for when I roll. Otherwise,
12%.
12%.
It's less about. I mean, you just roll. I guess it's on me.
I know. Listen, you don't understand my frickin' superstition. It's a whole system. I need to know. I got. Oh shit. I almost thought I got it at 69. It's a 66.
Okay. So, what's that? 54 to 78? No, sorry. 60 to 72. It's 12%.
12%. So is it 6 on either side?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So
6 on either side.
Yes, 60 to 72.
I slightly altered the D100 system that it's basically a critical success or failure if you hit the number exactly. Depending on what the percentage is indicating. In this case, if I roll a 66, it critically fails. 53.
Scary.
You described for me and for us, in all of this elegance of this room that I have described, and with that big circular window and the light coming in from the Aureate, how do you find Taliora Vicien asleep in her bed? What are you looking at?
I think, again, ironically, Velynia's first glance is around this room, and it is maybe even like a subconscious avoidance of the task at hand, that she's checking this room, and consciously she's checking for, again, like a lover that maybe she brought home, or a bodyguard that she wasn't aware of, or something, or any noise-making thing, and she's under the guise of being thorough, she is kind of avoiding this task.
In doing so?
And so, yeah.
You see the last element of her vanity, I guess, as she has a massive portrait of a tasteful nude of herself above the bed.
Wow.
Tasteful in that
Incredible.
she's draped in the sheerest of fabric, but nothing is visible, but you definitely can see that she's nude.
Also,
she's holding an oversized quill pen and a big roll of parchment, and there's ceramic tragedy masks and elements that hint at both the content of plays, but also the facade that plays are. So you can see the edge of the backdrop and all of this, and it's massive, like larger than life size on the wall above her bed.
And I think Velynia, at this moment, everything shifts. I think that all of a sudden, with this shrine to herself, Velynia reframes the way she's seen the rest of this apartment. And again, perhaps convincing herself that this woman isn't a good person. She sees that, you know, all of these paintings and all of these playbills and all of this, these props, this woman is a self-aggrandizer. She is building around herself this shrine to herself because perhaps she thinks she's better than everybody else. And then flashes of her being kind of not so nice in the last couple of days flash into Velynia's mind. And I think that last straw that breaks the camel's back is that like, who keeps a portrait of themselves, a nude portrait of themselves in their home? But a person who thinks that they are better than everybody else. And Velynia has known a lot of people in their lives that think they're better than everybody else. And so I think this creation, and this is all for sure Velynia just making up a story to give herself permission to do this thing. And I think with purpose, Velynia takes a step towards the bed, and then another step. And she grips this like tiny, stupid knife in her hand. And then she like almost again subconsciously, you see her quickly, a practiced motion, reverses the grip so the knife is on the back side of her hand. And I think that the steps quicken as she gets closer, and then quicken some more. And then in a last, like, almost a vault, Velynia launches herself off of this footboard and just lands atop this woman with all of her weight and just buries this knife into her, probably into her neck, because Velynia doesn't know another way. She does it many, many times.
And I think what we see is that massive self-portrait of Taliora Vicien. Arcs after arc after arc of blood. She does not scream. You plunged the knife right into her throat. You took away her voice. You took away the very thing that made her who she was in that very first plunge. And then you continued. And I think you continued for longer than you needed to.
Mm-hmm. Can I add one small detail? You mentioned that there are just scripts strewn about this bed, opened, and there's one dog-eared script. It's laying open. And I imagine for whatever reason, fate sees fit to show Velynia this last line, because I think maybe Taliora had it circled. And it's like the tail end of a script. And it says, "And we live the lives we live, puppeteered by strings of our own making." And she has this circled, perhaps a line she liked, or maybe even in her arrogance wanted it edited. But either way, that line stands out to Velynia as the page itself then is splattered, as Velynia is robotically doing this work.
I think cinematically, as the camera zooms in on that line, we see the boards of the House of Painted Echoes, the stage. We see Taliora Vicien standing alone on the stage in the spotlight. And we see and hear as she says, projecting out into the audience, this very line. Say it again one more time.
Yep. "And we live the lives we live, puppeteered by strings of our own making."
And she holds as she completes the line, staring up into the spotlight. There is no applause. And the spotlight turns off. And we see black. Hold for a few beats. The next thing we see. There is no summons, Velynia. There is no mentor waiting in the dark. No whispered congratulations or ritual murmurs echoing through the dorm halls. Just silence. Oops. Hold on. When you push open the door to your narrow quarters, the room greets you the way it always does. Bare, cold, stripped of anything that might soften it. Cot, a trunk, a single lamp guttering low. The air smells faintly of dust and steel. But tonight, there is something new. A small wooden box rests on the center of your thin bed. Unremarkable, unadorned. Its grain is plain, its hinges dull. The kind of thing that could be overlooked entirely, if not for the weight of its presence. The sense that the room is holding its breath around it. You are still wearing the grime of your trial. Blood in splatters across your face and clothes. A bruise darkening at your ribs, where in your haste to escape, you fell the last 10 feet. Ironically, landing on that very bolt that you popped out of the wall. The pulse of the night's violence still echoes faintly in your bones. No one has said your name. No one has even acknowledged your return at all. That, you realize, is the point. Promotion in the Shadow Collective is not announced. It is delivered. You step closer. Boards creak. Nothing stirs. No eyes watch you. Yet you feel the absence, like a gaze in reverse, a deliberate leaving you alone, so complete it becomes a kind of attention. You open the box.
I think Velynia looks at it for a second as it just sits there on her bed. And honestly, her first instinct, as soon as she gets into her room, she shuts the door behind her. Her first instinct is to get her clothes off. She doesn't. She just kind of, but she's almost too exhausted to even think about that, as gross as this is. Her second instinct, I think, is to cry. She wants to, but she can't. And she would have if she was 9 and had just killed somebody, and she did, but she can't anymore. And she kind of wonders what this means. And then I think, in the absence of being able to do anything else, she does go for the box.
You open the box. Inside, resting on a square of black cloth, is a dagger. Your dagger. Not ornate, not ceremonial. Just a wickedly simple weapon, lean and dark, the metal bearing a faint shadowed sheen as though forged in the absence of light rather than fire. Its edge is immaculate, its balance perfect. A blade. That is what you are now. No oath, no applause, no mentor's hand on your shoulder. Only the dagger in the box. Only the silent acknowledgement of your elevation. Only the knowledge that from this moment forward, you are expected, if necessary, to kill with it, and to die with it if you fail. Do you pick up the dagger?
I think this is Velynia's only comfort right now. Like I said, she wants to fall back on something. She wants to feel like anything. But she just can't. Like, it's weird. The absence of it. It's like if you ever had COVID and you can't taste anything. You know there should be something there, but there's nothing. And so, yeah, she would take this dagger and, like, yeah, just look at it closely and feel it and feel the weight and the balance and all of it.
As you pick up the knife, the dagger, as your fingers begin to close around it, we see one more flash. You were 9 years old. You have just been sold to Ket Telkolik on behalf of the Shadow Collective. Do you have a surname? He asks, and we see you just shaking your head. Tell Soul. The Alone. The name is almost cruel. Your fingers close around the hilt of the dagger, and a sudden, sharp, phantom pain knifes through your left hand. Bright, cold, gone as quickly as it came, but leaving the unmistakable sense that something has just claimed you in return. And that is where we are going to end this interlude.
Wow. Good stuff. Good stuff as always, bud. Oh, it's so
there we are.
sad. It's feast on the tragedy.
So
my favorite. Oh,
there
damn.
Was a chance that Taliora of ICN was awake. And if you had rolled exactly, if you had failed on your stealth checks, the percentage chance of her being awake would have been even greater.
But it's very stealthy. I was super sneaky.
I had a stat block that I'm kind of sad I didn't get to use because
she was gonna fight me.
Because there is in the NPC Core book a traveling actor stat block that I was going to use, and this is purely the reason why I wanted to use this block. Is one of her reaction is called dramatic death. The traveling actor if the traveling actor takes any damage, the traveling actor falls prone and dramatically announces their death. They appear to have died. And then you have to, you can attempt to determine if she's actually dead. But it's very much,
I would not have.
It would have been a moment to sort of show this actress and her fighting you with sort of the flourishes of somebody who's learned stage fighting. And then when you strike, you've gotten me. I have fallen.
I was hurt under your arm.
And yeah, so that would have been neat. And then there was the threat, the potential threat of the Brothers of the Seal.
Could they have arrived? Like if I was a pain in the ass and took a
I'll tell you what, I want you to make a D20 roll, and I'm going to give you a +3 on this.
Okay.
Did you roll a 1?
8.
8.
No. 8.
You, Velynia, believes that you barely got out of there before the Brothers of the Seal arrived. That if you had lingered any longer, you would have been caught in those bedchambers, and you would never have emerged.
Yeah, no. Would news of this murder be like news? Would this like
that is something we can explore in the future, and possibly in
because like if Dame Helen Mirren got murdered, it would be
here's the thing.
News.
Here's the thing. The reason I'm not telling you is you don't know.
Oh,
because you leave Karamaga, you leave the Aureate, and you leave Kaer Maga after this assignment is done. You did what you were supposed to, and you travel back to where you were training with the Shadow Collective.
And I almost imagine Velynia like would not, like there's a way to seek out that kind of news. Velynia would not want to seek it out.
So there you go.
Interesting. Good shit.
The forging of a
Velynia was
blade.
not a good person.
I originally
There's gray area.
had written a scene that was reminiscent of near the end of Game of Thrones when one of the Valyrian blades is dismantled, melted down, and re-poured into 2 new blades.
One of the best soundtracks on that album, by the way. Two Swords is a great track.
And I wanted a scene reminiscent of that and had actually basically written a ritual scene of the blade being forged. And I thought, no, because that takes away from the fact that the blade being forged in our story is not the actual knife. It's Velynia. Mm-hmm. And I decided that it was more powerful to have Velynia Tel Sol, the Alone, have no fanfare, no acknowledgement. She did this thing, this most monumental thing, and the only acknowledgement is, here's your promotion in the form of a blade.
Not even here's your promotion. They just leave it.
Yeah, it's just, here you go. And now you are expected to up what you do. And now this is why I said at the beginning, before we started recording, I said, here's your age range, roughly between 12 and 20. Mm-hmm. This is where you can decide how old you actually were when this took place. Because
16 or 17 is appropriate. Like, I think it leaves enough time between the original, like, I think Velynia was with the Shadow Collective thinking maybe that she could get away with this without ever needing to kill again. Like, I think it was established in the main campaign that she was a whisperer up until now. And so, like, she just has to watch people and, like, report back and, like, just follow people sometimes and then report back. And it's like, what's the worst that could happen with all of that? But then...
One of the beautiful things of these interludes is it peels back some of the obfuscation and subtle narrative shields that have been put up on these characters for the audience alone, the audience including the players, because none of the other characters have any of these knowledges that you guys are gaining about each other. But you can't deny the fact that all of your perceptions of each other's characters are now changed if you watch these because of the things you've seen.
And I think it's cool too that every player in this campaign can be trusted with that information to not metagame it. But at the same time, it's fun for us as an audience, even within the game, us being partially audience members to these other PCs, to know this stuff.
That's why I, as a DM, made a decision a long time ago that only in extremely rare circumstances do I do secret messages or pull players away. And because I know I can trust my players with that kind of stuff, that's why you sometimes see the villain and you'll see what the villain's doing and where they're at and how they're working against you, because I know you're not going to take that knowledge and do anything with it. So,
amazing stuff as always.
So this was it. This was the last of our interludes, and based on on my watch. Oh, that's the temperature, which ironically isn't that far off from the date here in Michigan. I was going to say, it's the 23rd. No, that's the degrees Fahrenheit it is outside right now.
Correct.
It is the 28th of November. And when you are watching this, it is, I believe, almost exactly a month later. It's the 29th, probably?
The 29th of December, I think.
Of December.
The 29th. So we'll be back on the 5th.
We will be back on Monday the 5th with our regular campaign continuing on as if none of these interludes ever happened. So I want to say a huge thank you to if you were subscribing, resubscribing, gifting, all that kind of stuff. When we return in January, I'll be sure to call out people that have hit milestones, all that kind of stuff. And thank you. If you didn't, well, no big deal, but consider it in the future. Fun fact, if you have an Amazon Prime account linked to your Twitch, you can subscribe to one channel for free every month and it still supports the channel.
Ooh, that's neat. I didn't know that.
It's called it's when you go to subscribe, there's a box that says use your Prime subscription. And you can subscribe to one channel for free, and the creator still gets their 50% of the subscription
we need to advertise that more. That's
I used to do it all the time, and I always forget.
Well, I'll add it to the merch thing. By the way, check us out on redbubble.com.
Tamiko was a little sour. I had a bit of a rules or something to look up in our session, and she did the ad sting. But because of the nature, what I was looking up was complete misinformation. I just cut that whole section out, so it was never in the interlude.
Oh damn! Oh shit!
No big deal. You and I and others can promote the merch in the live chat during these interludes. Or I take that back. We did that already because that's happened in the future. So I do want to say thank you to everybody hanging out in the chat with us. A huge thank you to all of these amazing players who gave so much in different ways. Every one of these sessions was very unique and looking at very unique aspects, and every player just dug in and gave it their all on these sessions. And shout out to you, Cari, once again for being the one to remind me and say, hey, are we going to do one-on-ones again?
I was dying for one.
And
this December break has me jonesing hard for some RPGs, so I got to do something here.
So, but also thank you to all of my players and GMs in all of my games for allowing, and you, the audience, for allowing me to take this hiatus every year. It's a much needed break to give my brain a rest. And we did this year. We started doing one in July, which will continue in the new year. 2 months out of 10 to take a break, not a bad deal. And it helps. It helps to kind of decompress and let me come back into these games with a fresh mind, and especially when
all the gremlins out of your computer.
Yeah, and when we do all these big charity events throughout the year and everything else. So, but this was it. This is the end of December. So, as I've thanked everybody, I've thanked the audience, I've thanked all the players. Thank you again, Cari, so much for this. Because without you, this would have just been me talking to myself for a couple hours. With that, we're going to go ahead and end this interlude the same way we end every stream. And you can say it with me if you want. MTD.